Welcome to Free Media. I'm Amber Duke.
And I'm Robby Soave. Well, the stock market was sent reeling after President Trump's so-called Liberation Day announcing widespread tariffs on the globe. One of his closest advisors, Elon Musk, seems to be breaking with Trump on the issue.
Lasting impacts of this may be the ultimate separation, at least from the White House, of Elon Musk and Donald Trump. Elon Musk is, again, based on reporting, just enraged that the tariffs are causing the damage that they're causing, specifically on his economy. It's saying it's dealing nearly a death blow to Tesla, and is enraged at the way, again, based on my reporting, enraged on the way that this is being done in such a haphazard way, and taking aim at Navarro and Lutnick. Navarro publicly, but Lutnick privately as well, based on my reporting. It's very interesting how quickly that has changed, where Elon Musk letting people close to him know he's very upset.
While legacy media is salivating at the potential rift, perhaps the juicier exchanges have been between the Tesla billionaire and Trump's economic advisor, Peter Navarro. Here's what made Musk call Navarro a moron.
When it comes to tariffs and trade, we all understand in the White House, and the American people understand, that Elon's a car manufacturer. But he's not a car manufacturer, he's a car assembler in many cases. If you go to his Texas plant, a good part of the engines that he gets, which in the EV case is the batteries, come from Japan and come from China. The electronics come from Taiwan. The tires come. What we want, and the difference is in our thinking and Elon's on this, is that we want the tires made in Akron. We want the transmissions made in Indianapolis. We want the engines made in Flint and Saginaw, and we want the cars manufactured here. It's like this business model where BMW and Mercedes come in to Spartanburg, South Carolina, and have us assemble German engines and Austrian transmissions. That doesn't work.
Not just a moron, Elon also called him Peter Retardo, which I have been given permission to say in quote form by my bosses here at Reason. This has been interesting to watch this fight finally happening. Elon, who tweets every 6 seconds approximately, had not been saying anything about the tariffs, which I think you could read as a clear sign that he was not happy about them, and has said in the past that he wants the ideal tariff policy between the US and Europe and everywhere to be zero. Finally broke. Elon, don't tweet about something, challenge impossible. He finally broke, started calling out Navarro, posting clips of Milton Friedman explaining why free trade is good, that just gets my heart aflutter, basically. So, I remain a big fan of Elon and his influence over the administration. What do you make of the various, because you and I have different views on the tariffs as policy, but I guess my issue is, I hear the administration, different members of the administration, defend them in different ways. I'll hear people who I know deep down probably don't like tariffs very much say that this is diplomatic and strategic to get other countries to lower their own tariffs. A goal I support. That would be great if we collapse the tariffs everywhere. I still don't think then putting them on literally everyone was a good idea. I'll hear that argument. Maybe you can make the national security argument for targeted tariffs against China, for protected industries, whatever. Then I hear someone like Peter Navarro, who clearly just wants literally everything made in America and us to be an autarkist society that A, I just think is bad economics, and B, is totally at odds that the idea that we will remove the tariffs once the other people do that. So what do you think is really the thinking behind them?
Yeah, well, I'll start with the first thing about Elon Musk, which is that obviously not surprising. I think everybody could have guessed where he stood on tariffs. And this is hearkening back to the H-1B visa debate that took place shortly before Trump took office, where you had Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy being very pro-expansion of H-1B visas versus some of the interests of other members of the administration who want a tighter immigration policy. And Elon Musk is an international businessman, right? Of course he wants zero tariffs. Not surprising at all. But I actually agree with you on the point that the administration has not done a clear job communicating what the ultimate goal of the tariff strategy is. And one person I've been listening to a lot on this question, who I agree with fundamentally on the broader vision for a tariff-based industrial policy, is Oren Cass, who has said, yes, I support tariffs when done in a targeted and strategic manner, but the administration needs to be clear in communicating to the American people which of those three strategies they're actually trying to go after here. Of course, putting China in a separate category because we view them as evil and fundamentally unfair with their economic policy, and also a huge threat to our national security. But he advocates for something like the 10% broad tariff enacted across the globe, with the option for them to get higher over time if businesses don't comply with moving certain parts of their manufacturing back to the U.S., and then if foreign countries don't come to the table to negotiate. So basically like a step ladder that is over a 6-month to 3-year period even, where maybe you have 10% the first year, 20% the second year, 30% the third year, and that actually gives companies time to reshore manufacturing of key industries, allows them to negotiate with the administration, because a lot of this is not going to happen overnight. And so immediately slapping a 50-60% tariff on has people scrambling, which is why we saw the panic in the stock market.
Yes, the stock market has reacted very negatively to all this news. And that gets to my second point, which is I don't think it's going to show up in the polling, if it's not yet, that there's a lot of concern about this. I mean, I think it's not just anecdotally that you're hearing a lot of, especially people in the business community, some media figures like Dave Portnoy saying, oh my God, this is so bad. Not, that's not the end all be all only thing. But this level of volatility, I mean, you saw the immediate spike again in the markets when they thought there was going to be a 90-day pause, and then they collapsed.
Falling for like a fake news headline.
Falling for just a tweet that was just a vibe, basically. It was based on nothing.
Which I think on that point, like, it is wise to be cautious about how much stock market volatility means that an economic policy is good or bad. They obviously like stability. They don't like when things change in regards to the markets or in terms of massive amounts of U.S. economic policy. So I always caution people like, okay, well, the stock market went down for 2 days. It's also back up like 1,000 points today, 400 in
But like
Dow,
my response to your Cass one, I just don't think, set aside whether I agree with that or not, I don't think there's going to be enough political will to continue to do that long into the future, given how badly the markets have reacted, how much negativity I'm hearing from people or business people who are otherwise quite supportive of Trump, like Bill Ackman, like Elon Musk, and then also, what if control of government is partly or entirely in the hands of Democrats in the future? Is there going to be a willingness to give them that kind of power? So I think there's going to be tremendous internal and external pressure for the Trump administration to reverse course on that. They're not going to say they're reversing course. They're going to say, can't you imagine the Trump tweet where he goes, we've made our point. The world will never take advantage of America again. Now we will have free trade and the best economy maybe ever. They're gonna put up the mission accomplished flag, take the win, and everyone will go back in the coalition to loving Trump. I just see that as the most likely way this comes to an end.
The one thing that gives me pause on thinking that Trump will reverse course is that usually he gives himself an out on these policies. I was listening to Sean Spicer on Two-Way yesterday, who made this point. He was like, usually when Trump is taking these bold actions and he's not totally sure if it's going to work out or how it's going to go over politically, he'll say, we'll see, or we're still figuring it out. And on this one, he's been actually very aggressive and unwilling to provide that caveat. And you hear people in the administration, even the ones who don't agree with Trump, saying like, yeah, actually he's very serious about this. So maybe he is willing to go for it in the long term, but I think it's clear, if you're going to do tariff policy aimed at reshoring manufacturing, it has to be coupled with other things like tax cuts, massive deregulation, specifically of the energy industry, which is one of the things that Trump ran on, making sure that natural gas leases are expanded, that we're able to have coal manufacturing and
Abolish
mining.
NEPA, do
Absolutely, all of that great stuff.
That stuff I am wildly in favor of, and I would love to even start with that.
Because you have to make a business-friendly environment overall. Maybe that means cutting the corporate tax rate some as well. If you want them to come home, it can't just be tariffs. It has to be a really comprehensive pro-manufacturing policy.
Well, I would definitely like to see all of those things you just mentioned. All right, thanks for watching Free Media today. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for more of our lovely little show, and please subscribe on our YouTube channel, Reason Free Media. Thanks very much.